We are Chris Lee and Blayne Gilmer of Southeastern 14 previewing the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, which just does not sound right. Sorry. Anyway, this game will be played January the 2nd. We are previewing this on December the 14th, so circumstances may change by the time you watch this. We will do our best to preview it. Been a crazy year for both teams. LSU, of course, lost to Georgia, blown out in the SEC title game, which it was not expected to reach. Tigers had a terrific year. Purdue had an interesting year also and has lost its head coach since the end of the season. So you will have an interim coach, Brian Brom in the bowl game, and of course your usual slew of opt-outs for an SEC bowl team.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting. One guy that's not opting out that is I'm sure we'll talk about when LSU has the ball in that segment coming up. Kayshon Boutte's going to be back. Of course, they saw good things out of Garrett Nussmeier there. If Garrett Nussmeier and Aiden O'Connell end up going against each other in this game, Chris, you could see two quarterbacks that could just really, really sling the football in this one. And then, of course, talented receivers in this one with Charlie Jones. And we already mentioned Booty over there with LSU. And they've got a bunch of other talented receivers. And, Malik Neighbor, Brian Thomas, all these kind of guys. Of course, Mason Taylor, their talented freshman tight end. So there's a lot of potential offensive firepower in this game, Chris.
Yeah, potential is a good way to put it. Look, there's going to be a lot either way, right? There'll be enough kids playing in this game that'll make it interesting, even if there are some major opt-outs, which there are some. But in any case, let's talk about when LSU has the ball. The Tigers averaged 32.3 points a game. Purdue gave up 24.6. LSU lost 12 fumbles. Purdue recovered 5. LSU threw just 6 picks. Purdue had 14 interceptions, which is a very nice total. Purdue had 28 quarterback sacks. LSU gave up a whopping 45 with its freshman tackles, including left tackle Will Campbell, who actually had a nice year. Rushing plays, a sack counts as a passing play. LSU averaged 34 rushing plays and 37 passing plays a game, averaged 5.8 yards per rushing play and 6.5 per passing play. Of course, Jaden Daniels did a lot of damage on the ground with his feet. We'll get to whether he'll play in a minute. And Purdue gave up 4.7 per rush play and 6.4 per pass play.
Yeah, it's still unclear whether Jaden Daniels is going to play in this game or not. Brian Kelly using language as we record this, like they're hoping that he's having time to heal and get healthy. But then you got to wonder, is there a quarterback controversy at all with Garrett Nussmeier, of course, coming in and looking like the second coming of Dan Marino in the second half of that Georgia game over there. I mean, just slinging the ball downfield. And I'll be honest with you, other than Joe Milton, I have not seen a quarterback with a stronger arm than Garrett Nussmeier this year. That young man has a lot of zip on the football. I think what LSU would need to be concerned with, Chris, is that outside of Jaden Daniels for a large portion of the year, I know they got Williams going late in the year at running back, but for a large portion of the year, the running game was totally dependent on Jaden Daniels' legs. And I would just be concerned that let's say it is Garrett Nussmeier that has to go over there. I think, does that allow Purdue to, be able to pin its ears back a little bit more and still, go after those still young tackles, even though they got a year under their belt. And, Nussmeier not quite as mobile as Daniels back there. So a lot of ifs and buts back there. But I do know that anytime you have Kayshon Boutte out there at receiver and you got the arm that either Daniels or Nussmeier had, you got a chance to put up some big points. And like I said, working underneath and stuff like that with Mason Taylor, not a bad option as well. So, I think it'll be incumbent upon Brian Kelly and company to really focus on offensive line play as they go into to this matchup. And because that's where it could go north or south for them here, is if they have a inability to run the football in a traditional manner, especially if there's any kind of still lingering issue with Jaden Daniels' ankle if he does play.
Well, two questions for me. You sort of posed one already, and what does LSU have in the running game if Jaden Daniels can't go or if he's hobbled? The other one was Kayshon Boutte, who was supposed to be a preseason All-American, just had a dud of a year. I'm very interested, and I just really don't know what they have in this game with him.
He did have a rough game early on in the year, but I really think that Brian Kelly and that coaching staff kind of got through to him later on in the year, and that he was really able to, he I think he was really able to kind of turn the corners. Had a great game against Georgia, made a big play, of course, for a touchdown in that game. So I think that Kayshon Boutte saying that he wants to come back and be a Tiger for another year. I think the slate is clean, and he's going to come in there and try to have a big bowl game in this one, in that deliciously sounding citrus Cheez-It bowl.
Do they make citrus Cheez-Its?
They need to. They need to have a specialty edition citrus Cheez-It bowl, a little cheese and lemon juice put there together. I don't know. We'll see how that tastes.
Would you have some, Sam? I am.
Absolutely, absolutely. It'd be better
I think
than
I'd try anything once.
better than the Duke's mayonnaise bowl, So
That's true. That is a little gross, but anyway, before we talk about the other side of the ball, a quick word of appreciation to our presenting sponsor, Stakes. Predict sports better than the crowd for a chance to win NFTs. With Stakes, players can cement their sports predictions against friends, other fans, and influencers forever. Don't let your sports genius go overlooked. Join Stakes and have the best predictions captured in the moment. Go to playwithstakes.com/14. Use our invite code Southeastern14 for a double welcome bonus. Free to join, free to play. It is a gaming app or a game app, not a betting app, however you want to put it. A lot of fun, and help those out who help our channel.
Daily fantasy.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. More or less. Okay. When Purdue's got the ball, Boilermakers averaged 28.1 points a game. LSU gives up 23.7. That number got dinged a bit by playing Georgia. Purdue has thrown 5 picks. LSU, has lost 5 fumbles. LSU has recovered 11. Purdue's thrown 14 picks. LSU's picked off 6. Purdue has given up 24 sacks. LSU's made 25. Purdue averaged 31 rushing plays and 43 passing plays per game. On those, it averaged 4.4 per rush and 6.3 per pass. LSU gave up 6.3 per pass, 4.8 per rush. LSU was a little vulnerable at times in the running game, but I don't know if that's really Purdue's strong suit.
No, I mean, they've got Devin McAbee as their leading rusher, 5.1 yards per carry, but they want to throw the football. They're a throw first offense. They know O'Connell, and then of course Charlie Jones. You and I were looking at the production that Charlie Jones had this year. 1,300 yards, almost 1,400 yards receiving this year. 110 receptions. The young man, a transfer from Iowa, can absolutely fly. He's going to be one of those that I'm sure you're going to see excel at the NFL level because of his route running and his quick twitch ability. He's got great hands. So listen. I think he was named to some second team All-American teams as well. So you're going to see this LSU secondary have their hands full when it comes to Charlie Jones a little bit. Payne Durham is another top target. He's got 56 receptions on the year. So it's going to be interesting. Now, obviously Purdue, much like LSU went 9-4 in the year, Purdue 8-4. They made it the champions of the Big Ten West, which is a total, kind of battle royale.
It's an accomplishment.
Yeah, it is an accomplishment, but it's like nobody wanted to win that division. They were all like having to scrap to get to the top of it. So they're battle tested, with a little time off. Now, they do have a new head coach over there. Ryan Walters is coming over from Illinois. He won't be coaching in this bowl game. As I said, Brian Brom will. But you would got to think that there's, it's almost like an NFL team in the preseason, right, Chris? Those guys are out there playing for jobs, right? So you got to think what what you put on tape in this bowl game for the guys coming back. That they want to leave a good first impression on Coach Walters as he comes in, the former defensive coordinator from Illinois, who statistically was one of the best defenses in the country. So Purdue's getting a very good defensive coach to match with the high flying offensive style that they've had there for a few years. But Aiden O'Connell's going to sling it. He's more crafty than you think when it comes to escaping the rush. And as you said, LSU has not been overly productive in terms of sacks this year. Opt-outs on the defensive side, Chris. I know you had some opt-outs. They've got some.
PJ Ojulari's a big one. Yeah.
PJ Ojulari not getting after. I know that's a big one. I know at different times of the year, Major Burns is a defensive back that's had some injury issues for him. I think he had to come off the field at the end of that Georgia game. So, and, we'll see how everybody is health-wise. Like I said, we make sure to tune into the channel because we do live streams and we'll update all this. But what you need to know is that when you face a Purdue offense, you're going to be seeing the ball thrown a lot. And so expect the Citrus Bowl to be a high-flying affair when these two teams match up.
Jay Ward also not playing for LSU. It's fine safety. So that's another one to keep an eye on. So, and by the way, Purdue, just as a note, Purdue played some good defense. Played Penn State, played Iowa, played Illinois. The Big Ten had some really elite defenses this year, and Purdue seems has gone up against most of them. Okay, before we get in our picks and hit some final facts that you might want to consider for this matchup, we want to give a word to another sponsor, BROTHROW. If you don't like betting $11 to win $10, you will like BROTHROW. You can bet 10 to win 10. It lets you bet on all 50 states. It's not the house, so bettors have a fair chance at winning. The only sports betting platform that doesn't take a cut of every bet. You don't have to deposit money into a BROTHROW account. No deposits, no minimum bets, no need to connect your bank account. Bettors pay each other directly. It's a hassle-free sign-up process that lets you get in the action in seconds. Go to brothrow.com/SE14. You can see that on the ticker. You should be able to see that in the description of the video. And again, help out those who help our channel. Okay, what have we got here in terms of final stats to look at? We've got penalty yards. LSU getting penalized 53 yards a game, Purdue 55, so that's dead even. We talked about special teams. LSU's was a disaster all year. LSU ranks 127 of 131 teams. What's that?
Especially in the SEC championship game.
Oh, I think it was every week. I mean, it was start to finish. It was the Florida State game to start the year, and then that. Well, they had a field goal blocked in return or a punt blocked in return for
no, the field goal, and they
field
walked off the field. They walked off the field, Chris. They didn't even go to cover it. They thought, oh, okay, well, it's blocked, it's fine. And
that's how bad their special teams were. They just gave up.
So it was rough over there.
Somehow there were 3 teams that were worse than, or actually 4 teams that were worse than LSU in special teams, according to FEI. But anyway, it was bad. Purdue ranked 84th in special teams. Strength of schedule, according to ESPN's FPI. LSU played the number 2 strength of schedule in the country. Purdue no slouch in its own right at 21. And our rankings in our Southeastern 14 composite, where we combine 4 computers we like, LSU 14 and Purdue 43. The over-under in this 58.5. The line 6.5. That gives you a predicted final of about 33-26 in LSU's favor. The over-under, based on what the teams have done, is about 54.5. So Vegas is liking more points than these teams actually scored, which I don't really know about, given the uncertainty at quarterback and some things there. I don't know. This is the tough one.
I think either way. I like the over, because I like if it's Nussmeier, I like LSU to be airing it out and making plays down the field, because I really think Kayshon Boutte coming back for LSU and showing that he's got something to prove. I think he's going to play with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder in this game, Chris. And of course, they've got other talented receivers over there. And this offensive line's got something to prove as well when it comes to protecting the quarterback, running the football. So, Brian Kelly, they can either use this as a springboard into 2023, or it can just be, a glorified scrimmage out there and kind of go through the motion. I think it'll be the former, not the latter. And then, of course, when you're talking about Purdue, they were able to score decent amount of points. I think in the mid-20s on a good Michigan defense, and at times gave them some fits. So I think that Aiden O'Connell and Charlie Jones, Maccabee and company are all going to have their own fair share of success, especially with guys like BJ Ojulari opting out of this game for LSU. So the one thing I feel confident in is a lot of points are going to be scored in this one.
So you taking the over, and who are you taking to cover?
I'm going to take Purdue to cover, but I'm going to take LSU to win. I think this is going to be a shootout, close game at the end, kind of whoever has the ball last. And I can see whether it's Jaden Daniels or Garrett Nussmeier having some dramatics at the end to pull this one out and help LSU get to their 10th victory in Brian Kelly's first year. I mean, who would have thought that when you were coming into the year?
All right, I'll ride with you on all that. We are previewing, actually now we have previewed every single bowl game involving SEC teams for a bowl season. Best way to get those, hit that subscribe button. We'll probably try to do some live streams between now and when this game is played. We'll certainly do a lot of stuff for hoops. We're rolling out hoops previews almost on a daily basis for the big games, and we'll have you covered wall to wall when we get out of football and into basketball and in between. So anyway, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of that. I'm Chris Lee. He's Blayne Gilmer. Thanks for watching us at Southeastern 14, presented by Steaks.